Racketeering, noun. Definition, dishonest and fraudulent business dealings. Wow, Tekashi is facing federal charges. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Glenn Obeden. I'm a criminal defense attorney and I specialize in federal criminal defense. And I'd like to talk to you for a few moments about something that a lot of people have heard of but may not understand exactly what it is, and that's the federal RICO statute. The RICO statute is a very effective tool that federal prosecutors use in any cases involving quote-unquote organized crime. And that doesn't simply mean what many people think of traditionally as organized crime, meaning the mafia. The RICO statute is very effective in prosecuting gang-related crimes as well. And that's a big topic out here on Long Island. There are a lot of gangs and there's a lot of gang activity. And federal prosecutors have been prosecuting gang members under the RICO statute. If you are connected or have a loved one who is connected to one of the gangs out here on Long Island, you could quite easily find yourself entangled in a federal RICO indictment. The way that a RICO indictment is proven is the government shows that a member of a gang commits a crime to enhance or further their position within the gang. And that simply is enough to prove a RICO statute. So if you are or have a loved one who's associated with a gang, any gang activity that's committed, the government will try and prove that that improves the standing of the defendant within the gang itself, promotes his position within the gang. It doesn't have to be money. And oftentimes it's not monetary. It's simply promoting your position within the gang. And that is enough to entangle you in a RICO statute that could include everything from a conspiracy to commit a robbery to a conspiracy to commit a murder, even if you're not the one who actually committed the crime.
What's up, everybody? So I'm letting everybody know that I canceled my whole tour. The American dates is not happening. It's not going down. Austin, Texas, I think I was supposed to be there today. I'm not going to there. I spoke to the promoters, Jose Avila, with Avila Music. We are going to be in business. I am coming back to Austin, Texas. I fired everybody in my team. I got no manager. I got no booking agent, no PR, no public. I don't got nobody on my team. It's just me. I want everybody to know, if you booking shows, do not book shows unless I say this show is going to be booked with this person. They will steal your money. They're not me. I'm not signing no fucking contracts. That don't got nothing to do with me. Whoever is booking shows for Tekashi 6ix9ine is stealing your fucking money. So if you need shows, I will let people know that I'm booking shows. Or if you're not on the phone with me, do not book that show because it's not me. I fired everybody. I don't give a fuck who you used to see me with. They no longer around. It's a fucking dub. November 23rd, the album dropped.
Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing if you want to become part of the gang. Notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chat channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We work. And also big shout out to the channel members. Now, the clip you seen at the beginning is an attorney at law, a Fed attorney. And the link is in the description. So you can, I guess if you ever need him or whatever, go to his particular page. And he's explaining the RICO. I know a lot of you guys heard about this situation, so I'm going to try to give my little take on what's going on with Tekashi 6ix9ine. Smash the like button and, let's jump right into it. So Tekashi 6ix9ine is facing some heavy shit because the feds brought him in and arraigned him for racketeering charges as part of the RICO law, right? The guy at the beginning he gave some more insight as to what the RICO law, covers. So gang-related activity, crime organization. Organized crime doesn't just mean mob, like the actual mafia and stuff like that, but they also include gangs, right? And according to what I read, Tekashi 6ix9ine, a couple of days before he was charged with racketeering and firearms charges and brought in by the feds, they warned him that ex-members of, ex-associates or whatever were trying to harm him, right? So you guys can look up all this stuff. Give you guys a little bit of a backstory. Tekashi 6ix9ine, he's a musician. He has a lot of buzz. He's the rainbow colored hair. A lot of you guys have heard of him, right? Making noise, doing views. He was just recently on The Breakfast Club. So actually around that time, he was on The Breakfast Club recently again and had a conversation. And he was talking about how he wasn't getting paid properly and people around him were like stealing money from him and he wasn't seeing the full profit. So he kind of outed. He was on tour and he canceled his tour saying, you know what, fuck that. I'm not going on tour anymore, and I fired everybody. We started from scratch because I got to clean up house. Then he went on Breakfast Club talking about it. He was on Instagram talking about it, things of that sort. And, I guess the feds had a wiretap from what I read. They had a wiretap with associates that were like disgruntled and or fired. And they said they're going to super violate him. And from what the Fed said in the report is their definition of the street slang, violate somebody, is to inflict harm, shoot, beat their ass, kill them, something to that effect. So they went over and picked up Tekashi and brought him in and said, yo, you got to get off these streets because, they're out to get you, people, they're mad at you, like former affiliates or associates or whatever, gang members, they looking to harm you. And then I guess Tekashi 6ix9ine says he's cool and signed a waiver that to be released, and he didn't want to be in Fed custody or protection. I guess it's not even custody, it's just Fed protection, So he left and went back to wherever he went. Then he made some videos on Instagram and he was like quoting Drake, I'm upset, 50K on my head is disrespect, right? And he was like putting some cryptic messages that kind of tied into this, and then 2 days later, they bring him in and charge him with what they have to charge him with. And let me tell you, these charges, it's not looking pretty. I'm not a law and order, I'm not an attorney or cop or whatever, but just from what I'm reading, it doesn't look good. And I'm going to try to explain to you. See, I'm from the Bay Area, so I know people that had to sit down. I know people that sat down, different cases, pills or whatever the situation, Fed cases, murder, different things like that. And one of the bad things is they're trying to, what happened, like, first of all, New York is the worst place. Like, with the RICO law, New York is the worst place that you want to be, getting caught up. I mean, anywhere is bad, but, New York specifically, because they'll try to throw everything at you, throw the whole book at you, where you get countless charges. And what they do is they use almost like a fear tactic, because sometimes, even though you might not be the trigger man, like let's say there's a shooting, they'll connect you to it. They'll say like conspiracy to assassinate so-and-so or to kill someone. Even if you didn't kill him, you're in, concert with the gang members or the mafia or whoever that was trying to do it, and you had knowledge of it. They'll try to connect everything. So they got him a couple different charges, and some of the charges, the maximum was life. And I think the minimum, I don't have all the numbers, but the feds have a system and they have certain guidelines. So, the minimum is like 20 years. Maximum is life in prison. Prison, not jail, prison. And the thing with feds is, like I said, I know people that sat down, is they have certain laws that were passed where you have to do a percentage of your time. I think it's 85% of your time. So that means if convicted, you have to serve 85% of that Fed case. So you'll get what you got coming to you. Like, and there's no way out of it. There's no like you know, federal parole or whatever, where you could just get off on good behavior without serving a certain percentage in a lot of cases. I don't know if it's all, again, I'm not, you know, Ice-T and Law and Order, but, you know, the feds, you don't want to mess with like federal cases because a lot of times you have to serve a certain percentage. And I think it's 85%. That's not good. And what happens is a lot of times is they might not even be going after you, but since you're in concert with these guys and the gang activity or whatever, they're going to throw what they want at you, trying to cut the head off the snake. You know, watch the movie Sicario, you know, which is real similar, where they got some of the lower level people associated and connected to the situation, trying to get the major people. You know, I told you guys this genre of, like, you know, crime drama and stuff. I'm watching a show on Netflix, Drug Lords. Another one is called Dope, stuff like that. And it's the same thing. Like, you can see it on any level. Is a lot of times they threaten and scare. I was watching, there's a show called Dope, I think it's episode 2 on Netflix, right? And they got this low level meth dealer, this woman in Indiana, and they hemp her up and they kind of scare her with all the charges. So she gives up her supplier. The supplier might be supplied by the cartel. So they're trying to climb up the ladder, and, you know, a person basically get someone to snitch. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like, damn, I'm facing 20 years to life, and then you give up the person's name and snitch. Now you can't go back to the hood. You know, so situations like this always turn out ugly because, you know, people, they're gonna have to cop please somebody, because everyone's gonna be facing a lot. So more often than not, you know, unless you do I think Bobby Shmurda, you know, and you take one for the team and then you just go sit down and whatever they throw at you, you just eat it, you know. But, you know, situations like this is crazy. And Tekashi 6ix9ine, you know, I'm trying to do this video to help the youth, so y'all see, you know, everything's not glamour and glitz. You know, you got to get your business right. Even if you come in the game on some street shit, you gotta eventually move on from that, because it'll always be with you. You know what I'm saying? And this dude, Tekashi 6ix9ine, Daniel Hernandez is his real name. He's 22 years old, right? So you got disgruntled people from your clique or whatever, associates, that are on wiretap, and they're, you know, making plausible threats because of how situations were handled. I didn't know if it was that bad. Someone said I don't follow Tekashi like that, you know. I think I follow him on social media, but I don't know his every move and stuff. But someone said he had an album coming out. So I was under the impression that he got an album coming out. So when I first seen the Instagram video, like I said, I follow him on Instagram. When I first seen the Instagram video, right, he said he fired everybody in his tour. Somebody said that he had an album coming out, so I didn't know if it was true. He was like, yeah, if you see me with this dude and this dude, I don't give a fuck, you know, don't book with them, book with me directly, you know. So, you know, it's an ugly situation, because either way you're kind of backed up against it. You got people who are disgruntled, who also caught cases, you know, and they're mad because you fired them, and then, you know, they're out of that situation. Now everybody caught cases. You know, some people are going to turn rat, snitch, and stuff like that to save themselves, you know. Or you have to go away for a while in the height of your career. You know, they say he's associated, you know how he always says that Tr3yway, that's called it's the NTGB, 9 Trey, Gangsta Bloods. And basically with this Rico shit, remember the Drake and Meek Mill song? You might just get hit with the Rico. This Rico shit is no joke, and they be getting people in New York. Another example, see, I'm gonna relate it to boxing, so that's another reason. You know, I talk about hip hop, talk about boxing, life, but it does actually relate to boxing. So for starters, I was at the Adrian Broner versus Jesse Vargas fight. Remember, Adrian Broner had this whole situation with Tekashi, and it looked like they were beefing, and then there was increased security, and then Tekashi was allegedly throwing up all this money, like putting a bag on it that Broner loses his fight, throwing money in the air, you know. So the Barclays was like turned up, like with security. I don't even know if Broner had a proper ring walk. You know, I think Tekashi or something it was a joke or whatever, and it was supposed to literally promote the fight or whatever. But there was some activity that popped off after the fight, and there was a shooting. I was out filming, so I don't know what happened, you know. But I guess there was a shooting, and they say the feds was watching, and it was Tekashi's people. That's what they're alleging, you know. So this does relate to boxing in that sense, where that BRONER Vargas fight when it had all this Tekashi shit, I guess there was associates. So that's one incident, and I guess there's another with Casanova, the rapper. He had a video shoot that got sprayed up, and then there's some other incident, and they're trying to tie all this into this Tr3yway shit. Crazy, you know. Like I said, the feds is nothing to play with. The Fed cases, that's different, and you know, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Another way it kind of relates to boxing is, if you guys remember, White Mike Tyson, Aventel Kurtidze, he was scheduled to fight Billy Joe Saunders when he was champion, WBO champion at the time, and it was an anticipated fight. They even had like press conferences and whatnot, and Aventel Kurtidze, the fight was canceled, and I did a video about it and everything. The fight got canceled because Aventel Kurtidze also in New York caught a racketeering case. They were linking him some kind of way to organized crime syndicate from Russia, some kind of Russian crime syndicate, and he ended up getting convicted and sentenced to 20 years. So that's pretty much your boxing career. Again, I don't know the details. I'm not a lawyer. I ain't passed the bar, but I know a little bit, you know. But I know for the Fed time, it's different. You got to do what they throw at you. You got to do like 85% or something like that. So when I heard about that for Aventel Kurtidze, I was like, wow, that's not good. They had him, like, I guess he punched somebody for like faulting on payment or some shit. And then I think he was selling cigarettes. I forget. But Aventel Kurtidze was caught up with the whole RICO case, and racketeering was the same thing that they got him for. He did 20 years. He's doing 20 years, and he got stabbed in jail. So I don't know if it was connected, you know, people were mad, or I don't know if people give up names. I don't know. So like I said, it's looking grim for Tekashi 6ix9ine, because this is what happens when you catch Fed cases. And see, the thing is, the Feds don't move in unless they got something. Like the BMF, that's another story that I know about with Big Meech and all that. Watched the whole documentary on it, and you know, just read up on it. And the thing is, they have wiretaps and search warrants and, you know, informant, all types of shit. So the Feds, they don't act and spring into action until they have enough to really get you. You know, they've already been surveillancing you, and they've been paying attention to what you've been doing, and they've already formulated a case. They don't just move in. They keep building a case, keep allowing shit to happen. Because Tekashi 6ix9ine has been popping for a minute, you know, in terms of like video views. Because I remember at the BRONER Vargas, there was hella cops, you know, because I went to that fight. You know, the weigh-in was like fucked up too, because they thought it was going to be some problems. So, you know, they had I think the weigh-in or the press conference or something, they just had a lot of cops because they thought something was going on. So that right there at the BRONER Vargas fight, that was an indication that they was watching. Because if there's a shooting, a random shooting, how do they respond to it that quick? You know what I'm saying? Because I think some of Tekashi people got pulled over or some shit. That's an indication. And see, you got to know hip hop. You remember people like early 2000s, see these young kids, they might have been young so they don't remember. But remember, there's a lot of people, especially in New York, and they used to call them the hip hop cops. It's the same thing. They still got that. They still got the hip hop cops who are watching, plotting, trying to build a case. And again, the way I've seen it, you know, from what I've read in situations similar to this, is they're trying to get the people at the top. So they'll, you know, if you want to make omelets, you got to crack a few eggs. And if they can make an example out of Tekashi and get him to, you know, incriminate people or give up sources and whatever, gun suppliers, that's what they're trying to go after. Because allegedly the people he's like associated with, they're connected to like robberies and shootings and distributing fentanyl, which killed a couple rappers recently. I think Mac Miller might have had fentanyl, and that Little Peep dude, You know, so I don't know. We'll see how this all plays out. I want to give you guys my thoughts on what was going on, but one of the incidents stems from the BRONER Vargas incident. It had nothing to do with BRONER in the end because it was revealed that it was a joke with Tekashi and BRONER or whatnot. However, I guess there still was a shooting with like a rival crew or whatever. So, you know, it is what it is. Let me know if you guys have any more detail. That's what I've read about and what I know, and I just want to give my 2 cents. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. And this should, like I said, if this is like Bobby Shmurda, you know, this should be a message and a wake-up call for, you know, a lot of the young heads, you know. So let me know your thoughts. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.